Class, we're looking on the basicity of an acid. Now, the basicity of an acid is the number of H plus ions produced when one molecule of the acid is dissolved in water, right? So there are two definitions. I don't want you to mix them up. So the first one is the number of H plus ions produced when one molecule of the acid is dissolved. The next definition for basicity of an acid is the number of moles of H plus ions produced when one mole of the acid is dissolved. So if you're talking about the number of mole of H plus ions, you must talk about when one mole of the acid dissolved. If you're talking about the number of H plus ions that is formed when one molecule dissolves, so number of moles is used when we are talking about one mole of the acid. Number of H plus ions is used when we are talking about when one molecule of the acid is dissolved. So please bear that in mind. Those are the two definitions of basicity of an acid. Alright, so basically we have HCl. Now when HCl dissolves in water, it produces one H plus ion, aqueous, as well as one Cl minus ion, aqueous. So we want to know the basicity of this acid. So the basicity is the number of H plus ions produced when one mole of an acid is dissolved, or it's the number of moles of H plus ions produced when one mole of the acid is dissolved. So in this scenario, this only produces one H plus ion. So when one molecule of the acid dissolves, we get one H plus ion. Or when one mole of the acid dissolves, one mole of HCl aqueous produces one mole of H plus ions aqueous and one mole of Cl minus. So because one mole of HCl dissolves to produce one mole of H plus ion, we will say the fact that it is one means mono, and we say that this acid is monobasic. H2SO4, which is phosphoric acid. So phosphoric acid, when dissolved in water, is going to produce 2 H plus ions and 1 mole of SO4 ions, SO4 2 minus ions. So we can say that when one molecule of H2SO4 dissolves, it produces 2 H plus ions. Because of that, it is dibasic. Also, when 1 mole of the acid dissolve, 1 mole of H2SO4 dissolve, it produces 2 moles of H plus ions and 1 mole of SO4 minus ions, SO4 2 minus ions. So the fact that 2 moles is produced, it is also dibasic. So remember that. Looking on phosphoric acid, the formula for phosphoric acid is A3PO4 aqueous. So phosphoric acid, when it dissolves in water, it produces 3 H plus ions aqueous as well as 1 PO4 minus aqueous. So when one molecule of phosphoric acid dissolves in water, it produces 3 H plus ions, right? Or when 1 mole of sulfuric acid dissolves in water, it produces 3 moles of H plus ions. So because it's 3, we are going to use the prefix tri, meaning 3, to indicate that this is a tribasic acid.